Bird machine. Check.
It don't say Tel Aviv. It don't say nothing. It just say
He didn't have a
Hebrew
signature
language.
either.
No.
Yeah. There it is. That's what the IP address. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
right. Hebrew language at yahoo.com. You have got to be out your mind to think that that's an actual email used by. In fact, let me do this.
I'm blowing it up bigger. I'm blowing it up bigger so everybody can see. We breaking this down in detail, slow.
Let me look at this. Go ahead and you can leave it there. Hold on, give me 1 second. I'm gonna go ahead and look up something
Mm-hmm.
here.
I'm just blowing it up so everybody can really see. So you can really see. And from an Android phone,
The same Android phone.
the same. Mm,
Same Android
mm,
phone.
mm.
Okay. Let's take a look here. There's
Mm.
nothing. There's nothing online in regards to that. There's nothing online in regards to that at all. There's no university. There's nothing.
What?
Nope.
So wait a minute, ain't no Tel Aviv University?
I'm looking right now to try to see what
Because what I looked up, it said it was closed. Temporarily closed.
Tel Aviv University.
Tel Aviv University, TEL space AVIV University.
Yeah, the university itself is closed. It's definitely closed. But that's probably talking about what I'm gonna do is
Mm,
this. So Tel Aviv University, right?
yeah. Mm-mm. Exactly, Black Smurf.
Okay, well, we got some problems.
What's
Yeah, I
wrong?
could.
We got some problems. Hold on a second. What's the name of that? What's his first name?
It's supposed to be Richard Katz.
Okay, can I share my screen again, please?
Yes, sir, you can. Hold on.
I'm about to. This thing is about to.
First.
This is Darth Vader throwing Palpatine in the pipe right here. This is it.
Okay, so it's about to get worse. Okay.
It's about to get worse. This the end of the first three Star Wars right here. It's over.
Okay, family, hold on to your seatbelt because you know Kevin G come in hot. Get ready. Get low when you got to. Oh
Listen.
boy.
I suggest you put on your favorite bulletproof helmet and hide under your desk. So I'm about to just throw a
All
shrapnel
right.
bomb up in this piece.
Okay.
Okay, can you see my screen here?
Yes, sir.
This is Tel Aviv University, right?
Yes, sir.
It says temporary closed. That's the facility, right?
Yes, sir.
It's located in Tel Aviv, Yafo, Israel, right?
Yes, sir.
This
Yes,
is Tel
sir.
Aviv University site.
Yes, sir.
This is staff directory. Do you see that?
All right. Yes,
This is
sir.
the staff directory.
Uh-huh.
Now, go to staff directory, put in the last name, Katz, right? It pulls up
Okay.
people because people have the last name Katz there. But when you go to the right here, this is the staff directory for all of the professors there, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you go to the right of anybody's name, it has a thing here that says email. You can email them.
Ah.
Now, here's what's real crazy about this. You ready?
Okay.
The emails are all at the domain of Tel Aviv. Literally.
Wow. Mm.
You can email now.
There ain't no
We're gonna
Yahoo emails.
now hold on. Let's go to our man Richard.
Right. He should be in Hebrew language, linguistics or something.
He doesn't exist.
Well, there you go,
He doesn't
Jesus.
he doesn't exist. Now we're gonna do this. What organization is he in?
He's supposed to be in linguistics, Hebrew language, or something like that. Something dealing with language, I guess.
Okay, so let's just look at this. So let's look at the thing here. Information Technology Museum. Let's see. I will assume this, but let's see what else we have here.
That's it.
I will assume that. Then you choose a sub-organization, but I don't see a sub-organization. Let's do all. And there's no sub-organization to go from. Now, when I put in the name CATS, I also put in, let's see, academic units.
He had a PhD at the end of his name.
Right. But that it shouldn't matter. It will come up here, Brother Brian.
It should come up here, right? So let's look at this person here. This is Demetria. This is the older office of the Department of History right here.
Okay.
This is a David Katz. It's not a Richard Katz.
Okay.
This is him right here.
And look how his email is written.
Yeah, this is his email. So if they would have emailed him, they should have shown an email if somebody was at Tel Aviv with this domain on it. Now, if you look at this site here, yeah, there's nothing here relating to that person. If they're trying to say this is the person, they need to show something. Because look what he says here.
Richard Katz.
But look what he says here in this bottom.
The best way to get in touch with me is via email dscats2000@gmail.com or david@brandis.edu. Okay, so
now that's his website that gave us that information, not the Tel Aviv University.
Oh, okay.
So now the question becomes, if they got in touch with David or Richard Katz in the first place, without, by the way, that wasn't Richard Katz. We chose him as an example. As you can see, there's tons of cats here.
Right.
What information, what website did they use to reach out to him?
Don't know.
And what they need to do is show, oh, we went to the site, we went here, we looked up this name, we pulled up his name here, and that's where he was. Because when we go to Tel Aviv, there should be somebody there named Richard Katz. There isn't. There's no result. Now, if I was talking about a David, guess what? I could pull him up.
He's biomedical engineering. Do you see a department for linguistics?
I see the organizations. See, that's the thing. His signature in his email should have at least pointed to something.
Right.
It doesn't point us to anything. We don't have any specific place that they came from. So that's another thing they have to answer. What department does he work in Tel Aviv? Because we can easily look him up. We can easily pull this up and look him up.
Right, and it should have came up under his name.
It should have came up under a general search anyway.
So is that the whole faculty directory, teachers?
Yes, it is. If you go to staff directory up here, it says staff directory. It's going to give you this is the staff directory. You can look it up either by organization. You can look it up either by sub-organization. So let's say, for instance, let's do
Now, mind you, family, this is a recording, okay? And I want to point something out in this clip that I'm showing you guys, right? So when I checked out the last video, William Brown said that the student that he contacted was going to see at the very school of Tel Aviv University who he could get to confirm those things on the pew. Now, William Brown, about a day ago when all of this came out, said, oh, Richard Katz is not at Tel Aviv University. But wait a minute. Why did you reach out to a student that supposedly, allegedly, is a student at Tel Aviv University and seeking for what? A professor who is professional in this particular area of linguistics, Hebrew language, by the way, or Ladino script, if you want to say, either or. Why would the student go elsewhere? Now, again, let me repeat myself. Don't mean to be redundant, but remember from the video that you just watched today, on this day, which is December 22nd, 2020 on Faithful to God's channel. It was pointed out in the text message that he text messaged, quote unquote, an alleged student at Tel Aviv University. And this student was supposed to reach out to a professor, most likely at Tel Aviv University. So that led us, who were discussing this on Sunday, by the way, to look into the staff directory at Tel Aviv University. Now, in this particular video that you're watching right now, you will see our dear brother G Consciousness comes on later on and says that William Brown, quote unquote, says that Richard Katz doesn't work at Tel Aviv University. So we got a conflicting story going on here. Not what G Consciousness, of course, but the fact of that he's reaching out to a student at Tel Aviv University, and this student is allegedly supposed to be reaching out to what? A professor, most likely at Tel Aviv University. So when Brother G-Com enlightened us that William Broom says that the Richard Katz doesn't work at Tel Aviv University, well, where does he work? Because when we check the area for Tel Aviv University, we see other nearby schools, but they're outside, I believe, of Tel Aviv University. Now, I could be wrong about that because I don't know the distance between, all of these different schools. But when I go back to Tel Aviv and pull up a list of university, Tel Aviv University is the number one that is located in that particular area. And yes, it will give you surrounding schools, but they're not in Tel Aviv, Israel at all. Just interesting. Just a little food for thought. I just wanted to throw in there for you guys. But let's continue the clip and let's see what else did we see. God bless.
Faculty of Law.
Okay.
And then they have, you want all of them? Do you want Faculty of Law or you want Law Library? So
let's try.
all.
Yeah, let's say all.
And there it goes. It pulls up everybody in Faculty of Law, right? With their information, phone number, fax, and their email that you can just pull up and just email them. Okay? At that domain. Now, when you see the mail.tail.ac.il,
okay,
and you have the mail.tail, that's called a wildcard, or not a wildcard, but yes, it's a subdomain. So it's mail. Just like you do mail.gmail.com. Some domains are like that.
So even if you don't do a sub-organization or you just did the organization, you just did his name should have came up some kind of way, right?
Right, absolutely. Like he said in his in the video before, he says they all tried to look up this person and there's nothing there in regards to any type of
Okay, Brother Maui says, somebody, Maui, aka Joe, I don't know if that's Brother Maui. He says, hey, everyone listening in, I've seen a Richard Katz at Mayo Net Institute of Jewish Studies, but still kind of off.
Where does he see that? He said what at Mayo
Net? It's in the chat right there. He said, hey, everyone, been listening. I've seen a Richard Katz at Mayo Net Institution of Jewish Studies, but still kind of off. That's what he said. So why say Tel Aviv University? You see, if you're still lying. Either way it goes, you'd still be lying. And notice, family, we doing this out in the open right before your very eyes. Okay, so nobody's hiding nothing. Because we didn't make these claims, they did. And they throwing these people in the basket. We not throwing these people in the basket. They are. Okay. But what we do know is ain't no Richard Katz at no Tel Aviv University. So that was a lie altogether. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's you, Brother Maui. Okay, God bless you. Okay. So when you looked for it, Brother Maui, did it say what okay, you said he was Jewish studies? But see, would that Jewish studies fall under linguistics, Brother Maui? Okay. Maybe Kevin G might look it up.
I am now. You guys can hear my.
Oh, you back there clicking. Okay. Yeah, click away. Go ahead and do your clicking.
I found them. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and look at let's see. Okay, so I found Richard Katz at Mailnet Institute of Jewish Studies.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like he deals with, let's see, his citations. He doesn't deal with language at all. This guy is totally, he's in behavioral biology.
Can you please show that?
Yeah, certainly.
Okay.
So here's the guy here at Richard Katz, see that?
Mm-hmm.
Mailnet Institute of Jewish Studies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, he does it, that's not his department. That's what the school is called.
Okay.
Mailnet Institute of Jewish Studies. If you look that up, this is it. It's the actual school in Jerusalem, Israel. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Now, going back to his information, notice that his department is behavioral biology. And he's doing a paper called The Appetitive Determinants for Self-Stimulation. So
he wouldn't deal with this area at all?
No, not at all. This guy's talking about brain stimulations caused by food depravity, self-stimulation, food produced by subsequent increase of self-stimulation of whatever this is, substantia nigra, must be something in Hebrew. And as you can see here, this is Katz being cited in his work in regards to these things.
Oh, God.
If you go down, he talks about food and water deprivation resulting in robust facilitation of ICSS, multiple other studies. And you see he's cited on this. This is back in 78, by the way. He talks about here the increase in methamphetamine intake for cessation of chronic will activity could be attributed to exercise deprivation, effect as seen by deprivation by other substances of food and sweetened solution. Katz et al. 1978. Now, when you look that up, you could probably have what we're looking at here. And it looks like we do. So we look at confidence limits break risk ratio. So let's look at this here. And this is dealing with medicine. All right, this is dealing with medicine. And as you can see, for this article on medicine, they're referring to Katz and biometrics. 1978, same source that we see on this site, which has this picture associated with the only school in Jerusalem that we were able to find. There is no Richard Katz that we could find that deals with language. There is no Richard Katz that we could find at Tel Aviv University. And we saw that all the domains in Tel Aviv University was different. By the way, if somebody's from Tel Aviv in Israel, right? Here's another tidbit. Here's another thing. Here's another thing. Now notice, I want to take you back to something here very key.
Okay.
People can use email any way they like, especially if they use a VPN.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Especially if they use a VPN. Mm-hmm. But I'm gonna let you know something about these emails here. What's the unique thing you see about these emails?
Besides it being linked to the school.
Right. What's at the very end of that email?
It's a .il.
Okay, do you know what that means?
No.
Okay, .il is the international domain for Israel.
What?
Yes, it's the international domain for Israel.
So meaning what? It can't go outside of Israel?
No, meaning that it comes from Israel. Each country have their own thing. Like if you go to a game site like .com.jp, right? If you go Capcom JP, or if you go Capcom.com, you go to their base site. Then when you go to Japan, right? Notice it says co.jp.
Right.
Now that's because of their countries of what you call it. Now, if I go to co.il, if they do have one, I should get the Israel version of it, but I don't. But that's what I'm talking about. Each country have their own domain. For Canada, it's CA, right? For Europe, you're gonna have a base domain because they have the internet domain the same they share with the US. If you do Taiwan, you get TW, right? So this is just an example of how domains work. And by that domain, you could tell where it came from. Like RU will be Russia. Russia has RU. Germany has GR, and so forth and so on, right?
Oh, so it will let you know what country that this email is coming from.
Well, if they're using a server based in that country, yes, that domain will be IL. Now, what we have, not only do we have the same mobile device, which is weird as heck, but we already know what that's all about. We know he's faking the email. Not only that, but why would he reply back using a domain outside of his country?
Good point.
That's when I looked at that. I was like, well, wait a minute. If he's from Tel Aviv University, he's replying back from an email. Why is he using a general domain email to reply back to these guys? What email? You know what?
You're right. Because when Dr. M. Boonis emailed, I believe he emailed Abu, it had the IL, if I can recall.
Well, we have to look at that and see, but that will be something interesting there, because if he did reply back with the .il, then that means that that was the guy replying back to Abu was replying back from a Israel domain server. And that server sent the email out and it had that tag and domain because it came from Israel. This guy who's saying that the pews are fake, not only was the syntax the same between him and his email writing, and the device was the same, and the SPF ID was the IP address was the same. You can't get out. This is you can't get around this. It's embarrassing.
And you can't fake the IL, correct? You can't fake the TW, the IL, and all that.
Only you can do that, but only way you can do that is if you get a VPN. You get a VPN connection. You do a VPN to say Israel, right? You use a server in Israel to VPN through. When you're a server in Israel, any internet site is going to look at you as Israel. So let's say if you go to CNN.com, it's going to pull it up the Israel version. If you go to, it's going to give you the Israel version of these sites, right? Because they assume that you're a citizen of Israel. Just like when I go to Google and I'm in America, it's going to pull up Google.com. If I pull up Google while I'm in Mexico, it's going to pull up Google.co.mx. And it's going to show me the Mexican version of Google, which everything is in the Mexican language. The reason why they do this is because they also cater to searches based on your area. So if I look up steak, it's going to generalize my searches based on America, which is probably going to show me a ribeye, a T-bone, something like that. If I'm in Mexico and I look up steak, it's going to probably look up fajitas and different Mexican dishes that may include beef or steak. So it's more catered to what people in the general area search for. So that's how domains work in regards to personalized web surfing and going to searches and doing searches and things of that nature. Where this dude messed up, he showed it's the same device ID. It's the same SPF. I'm gonna tell you something about that IP address. That IP address is everything. You want to know why?
Please.
Because the IP address shows you what subnet you're coming from. It shows the subnet that you're coming from. Now, here's why that's really damaging here. If you look up the IP address and you ping it, you ping the server. I'll do it right now. Okay. Let's go to ping, right? Let's do ping IP address, right? I'm gonna do a public ping. So let's do, I don't know what this site is, so I apologize if guys is what's a good site?
Take your time. Take your time.
Site? What's a good site? Ping.com. Ping.com? No. What's that site? Ping. Ping. Well, what's my IP? I think should have a version of Ping. I don't use these web ones anymore. It's my. Let me do this. I'm gonna do this off my screen here.
This is crazy. And Mm-mm. And you would think his Ethel would have told him, "Don't do this." Maybe they didn't know. I don't know. Maybe they didn't know
Forget it.
child.
Forget it. I'm gonna just do a generic thing here. Okay, so this is how you ping an IP address. Okay. Now
Uh-huh.
I may not be able to hit his device, but I can hit the server that he hit from. So
Okay.
let's say, for instance, this one right here, he has let's see, 74.6.131. 31.124, right? Okay, so there it is. I'm hitting that device. Now, if I
Okay.
do, I forget my commands here. If I do good Lord, what I want to do? Let's do a trace route, right? Let's do a trace route to that address. In fact, let's go up. Let's do a trace
Well,
route.
I don't want him to turn on his VPN, Brother Maui, because he public. So I don't want nobody to get his personal information.
It doesn't matter. I mean, the IP I'm using is bogus anyway.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't matter here. All right, so bingo, he failed. Do you see what the IP address is pulling? Watch this.
Oh.
Watch the hops. We're gonna look at the hops here. Okay.
Uh-huh. This is what he used?
No, what it's doing is I'm doing a trace route. What this is that it goes and it hops to the trace route to whatever it is. Notice there, what it's pulling though, DNS has identified the name already as Sonic 311 14 at
Okay.
consumer. See that? .mail.bf2.yahoo.com.
Wow. Okay.
Which means, guess what? Guess what? The email address he sent that from hopped off the same US Yahoo server.
So it wasn't from Israel at all.
At all, because think about it. If that
My
IP address
God.
is the same, if the IP address is the same, then that's the thing that blows out the water for me. When I saw it, I was like, oh, that's over.
Oh God, let me
When
take a walk.
when you do a trace route, I could zoom in for everybody. If I hold on, let me do edit.
Oh Jesus.
Let me do properties here. I could zoom in a bit. Let's do font. Let's make the font bigger. Okay.
Kevin, you's a genius, bro.
Okay, so if you notice this, I did a trace route to 74.6.131.124. That's the IP address that shows up on both emails, one from the professor and one from him himself, right? When I do that, DNS resolved the name to Sonic 31114 consumer email bf2.yahoo.com. When you do that, it's now hopping to that device. Notice I haven't left the country. I haven't left the country. All of my domains are US based. All of my IP address are US based. So that goes to show when he sent the email from both of those, it hopped on the same server because of the area he's in. Now, if there was another one and you saw a different IP address, then we could trace route that and see if it hops out the country. It'll be a star, it'll be asterisk, it'll say request timed out, right? Because that router that is hopping, because when you do a hop, you're hopping on layer 3 devices. So when you hop in on layer 3 devices, the router is not returning back any routing information. It says, I'm not going to return this information, but I'm going to pass off your packet and see whatever that returns back. So that's why you don't see these specific servers for security reasons, right? So notice here, the only time that it timed out is when it went from in this domain. It hopped in this domain. Notice same subdomain, different sub IP, started at the third octet of 141.180. Then it continues to go. It has not left the US, meaning that the dude that sent that email, the professor, and the other one hopped on the same server in the same state in America. So it's impossible to be a professor in Israel. Mic drop.
Brother Kevin, I'm gonna have to send you a bill in the morning because you just kicked in my front door and bust out my window, sir. I'm gonna need you. So as you can see, family, there's major issues. As Brother Abu and Brother Faithful and even Brother Kevin G has pointed out to you, there's no way that this person is located in Tel Aviv, Israel whatsoever. The only advice that I would have for you, Mr. William Boone, is that you owe everybody an apology, including the people within your domain. And even since you say that, quote unquote, that you're a pastor. Well, I will leave you with this little bit of advice. On top of the advice that I just gave you, I'm going to take it right here from 1 Timothy chapter 3, starting from verse 1 to verse 6. And it says here, this is a true saying. If a man desires the office of a bishop, he desireth a good work. A bishop then must be blameless, the husband of one wife, vigilant, sober, of good behavior, given to hospitality, apt to teach, not given to wine, nor striker, nor greedy of filthy lucre, but patient, not a brawler, not covetous, one that ruleth well his own house, having his children in subjection with all gravity. For if a man know not how to rule his own house, how shall he take care of the church of God? Not a novice, lest being lifted up with pride, he falls into the condemnation of the devil. Moreover, he must have a good report of them which are without, lest he falls into reproach and the snare of the devil. So you have violated all of these things, and I don't see how you can even begin to call yourself a pastor, being that you have been caught in so many lies, and you still continue to lie when all of the evidence is pointing against you. Listen, sir, concealing, quote unquote, this so-called professor for what? If you're trying to prove something that you are correct on your information, then you will want that professor to come forth and explain on your behalf professionally and walk everybody through step by step, but you failed to do that. Sir, you have proven yourself to be a liar. And if you are truly ordained as a pastor, you have brought such a disgrace to that particular office. You need to repent, and you need to repent fast. The things that you have done is just outrageous. You need to ask God for forgiveness. And the more that you continue to lie, the more the hole is going to go deeper and deeper. Repent while you still have a chance. With that being said, family, God bless you.
Jingle bell,